Good morning. Can you both hear me?
Yes.
Ms. Bendel, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. We've got court watchers waiting in the waiting room, as well as my therapist that was formally subpoenaed.
All right. I'm trying to get Ms. Cundid to set up the cart services that you requested. Is that correct?
I have not received that link yet. Yeah, I have not received that link. I was told I would receive it 24 hours ahead of time, which means I should have received the link yesterday. I've already called them. The ADA coordinator is not in, and I'm sure you've probably seen my email that I sent out that this hearing cannot proceed without the cart services.
Well, I have Ms. Cundid who is available. Ms. Cundid, you had a question for Ms. Bendel?
Yes, I think when it was initially set up, there was a misunderstanding with the cart. So what I'll need from you, Ms. Bendel, is your email address so they can send the link. We're having a problem finding your email address. Can you please give that to me?
Yes, I'll also type it in the chat. I have chat ability. It does not look like I do. So it's my first initial, last name, so H, and I'll spell it out phonetically. Bravo, Echo, November, Delta, Lima, at Comcast.net, N-E-T.
Thank you. This will just take a couple of minutes, but we'll get it to you. All right?
The court watchers need to be let in, please.
No, ma'am. I'm only going to call or allow witnesses that the parties call to testify.
So it's a violation of the Florida Supreme Court without court watchers, and this hearing cannot proceed.
Well,
we need to follow Florida Supreme Court laws, sir. I have the right to court watchers to make sure that this is being handled fairly and justly. It is a public interest.
well, we can continue this matter until that matter is resolved, but I'm not prepared today to go forward. There's numerous individuals.
You are denying my constitutional right to have court watchers. Is that correct?
Ms. Bendel, there's numerous witnesses who I assume are witnesses in the waiting room.
Not witnesses, they're court watchers.
All of these,
Florida Supreme Court law allows them to
Okay.
witness this hearing.
all of these people in the waiting room are court watchers?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's public interest.
Karen,
They have a right to see how this is being handled.
Karen,
Karen Edward,
ma'am, please. Karen,
this is my hearing.
ma'am, please don't speak over me. Karen Edward, Crystal Kolpak, Pete.
Crystal Kolpak is a court watcher. Karen Edward is a subpoenaed witness. So she was denied access to my hearing on January 8th. She was subpoenaed that time as well.
Okay.
She
So
has-
she is a witness that would testify on your behalf?
Not on my behalf, on my children's behalf. She has called in wellness checks for my son Thomas Serlick and filed Florida DCF reports because he is suicidal and been unexcused.
Ma'am,
from
I
his school.
don't need to know all of that. I just need to know how many or which of these people in the waiting room are actual witnesses that will testify on your behalf.
Karen Edward is a subpoenaed witness to testify on Justin Serlick's neglect and abuse to our minor children. Peter Arnold is a subpoenaed witness to testify against what he has been witnessing Justin Serlick doing to my children. Everyone else are court watchers as a public interest. And to not allow them in the hearing yet again, because they weren't allowed in the hearing on the 8th, is violating Florida Supreme Court law. Florida has an open court system. Anyone and everyone is allowed to witness any hearing by Florida courts. So if you deny them access, you are denying the public interest in this case.
Ma'am, I also want to caution you that neither party should be privately recording these proceedings. The matter is being digitally recorded, so I just want to
That's my card services.
advise you of that.
Until I get my card services, we can't proceed at all. You're
Okay.
violating federal AD.
I agree. We're trying to get that resolved.
Okay. So let's get that resolved and then we can proceed. And I do have a written statement prepared on the record.
So let me, while we're waiting, let me just confirm. So Tanya Dudek is a court watcher. Diana Hanzak is a court watcher.
Court watch. They're
Levon.
all court watchers except
Le-
for Peter Arnold and Karen Edward.
Okay. So how about Levon Collis?
They're all court watchers except for Karen Edward and Peter Arnold.
Okay.
This is a public interest. The public has the right to know whether or not things are being handled justly and fairly and according to Florida Supreme Court law.
While we're waiting, just in the interest of time, Ms. Bendel, what is your current mailing address?
1709 Queen Palm Drive, Edgewater, Florida, 32132, and I've been here for almost 2 full years now.
Okay. And what's your phone number?
386-846-0599.
And is your primary email address capital H, capital B, Bendel, capital L at Comcast?
Yeah, so capitalization does not matter in websites and emails, but yes.
Okay. And Mr. Serlick, I have 333 South Landvale Avenue in Daytona Beach.
That is correct.
Phone number 224-433-1811.
Correct.
Okay. Email jserlick@gmail.
That is correct as well.
Okay, good. I didn't receive a witness list or exhibit list from either party prior to the hearing. Is that correct?
You received all of my stuff via motions that I filed. Everything is documented in the Florida docket.
I'm talking about a separate witness list and a separate exhibit list to be introduced in evidence. Did you file that?
Yes, sir. I filed formal subpoenas for my 2 witnesses.
No, ma'am.
They were by the Orange County Sheriff and Volusia County Sheriff.
Listen to my question. Did you file a formal?
I'm sorry, sir. I have my cart services and I'm hearing impaired. So we cannot proceed until I have my ADA accommodations.
All right.
You have a copy of my audiology
Fair enough.
report showing
Fair
I'm
enough.
not lying. Thank you.
This is the court reporter. Are you able to receive my feed right now?
Yes, I can see your video. I still do not have the link for the transcript of the audio. Actually, I just got something just now. Give me a second.
Okay.
This was supposed to be sent to me yesterday. I'd really like an explanation as to what's going on with this. Okay, so I have a white box up with pause, search, annotations, transcript, settings, etc.
Correct.
Do I need to log in or anything, or is it just...
Ma'am, you're at the right location. Everything is fine. I'm just trying to get you to the real-time feed now. I want to make sure you got the email. Thank you. It takes a few minutes to get everything working. I'm showing it on my end, but you're not seeing it on your end. Do you see anything now?
It's just a blank white box.
Okay.
Where are my court watchers?
I'm not proceeding until the court reporter is ready to proceed, ma'am, per your request.
Yeah, my request request was that we don't discuss anything until everything is in
Ms. Bendel?
recording.
I am not going to discuss anything with you further per your request.
Well, sir, I'm sorry, but nothing about this case the last 2 years has been fair or just. So we need to make sure we're following Florida Supreme Court laws, which allow me to have court watchers in here the moment the hearing starts, so they are witness to how you are handling this hearing. That is Florida Supreme Court law. I don't make laws, the state of Florida does. We need to follow them. I also want to make it clear that these court watchers are recording, that they're not being let in yet, and they are letting me know that they are taking screenshots and documenting that they're not being let in yet. And yet the hearing started at 9:40. The public has a right to know how these things are being handled.
I'm all connected, but I don't know why you're not receiving the feed. And so,
Let me refresh the page.
excuse me, I'll let,
I'm
Ms.
refreshing the page.
Ms. Condit, I just, for my own benefit, is it easier to have the cart services when you're live in person? I noticed you were present at the last hearing before
I
Judge.
was present at the last hearing, and
Okay.
it is helpful because we can do it right next to each other, but it shouldn't matter with the remote as well. I think because of the late start and everything, I'm trying to get this to work just right. I see everything up and connected, but I don't know why she's not getting the real-time feed without a little bit more time.
Yeah, it seems like nothing works right with my case. I wonder why that is. Yet I court watch for everyone else, and their services work just fine.
Ms. Bendel, please, Ms. Condit is doing the best she can.
Well, while we're messing with technology, my children's lives are in danger, so there's that.
I will try reconnecting again, so just give me another minute.
Do both of you plan to represent yourselves through these proceedings? I noticed you had attorneys previously.
Yeah, and both of my attorneys were corrupt, and that's part of this whole corruption case with Michael G. Nurheim calling my attorney off-channel ex parte, which is a felony, so I will be seeing everybody in Supreme Court. But for now, I am pro se, and I will continue to be pro se because I know the laws, and I'm educated, so
Okay.
I definitely do that.
I just always
I
caution.
can no longer afford to pay for my attorney because of Miss Heather's actions that she's done through the court. The cost would be astronomical because of
My
all.
actions are trying to protect my children.
All right,
You've been
folks,
hiding
Ms.
and
Bendel,
withholding
Ms. Bendel,
free.
Ms.
We
Bendel,
need to talk about your actions and my son almost killing himself in your
Ms.
care.
Bendel, we're not here to, Ms. Bendel,
No, we're here for the safety of my children.
please don't
I'm
interrupt.
tired of hearing about money.
We're talking
My
about,
children's not at stake. I'm tired of hearing about money.
okay, Ms. Bendel, I just asked Mr. Serlick and you a question. I didn't need for you to interrupt his response.
This hearing should be about my children's welfare and safety, and that's it.
Ms. Bendel, I'm not going to allow 14 court watchers into this hearing. So if you don't want to proceed today because I'm not going to let the court watchers in.
You don't want the public to witness what's happening right now.
Ms. Bendel, if you don't want to proceed today with just the parties and your subpoenaed witnesses, then I will be glad to reschedule this to a later
So
time.
court watchers are required by
No, ma'am.
law.
No, ma'am.
Florida Supreme Court law, yes, sir, they are. To not allow the public to see how you are handling it, you are violating Florida Supreme Court law. I suggest you get familiar with the state of Florida's laws, because this has already happened multiple times in the last 3 months, and that's why I will be filing a Florida Supreme Court case.
All right.
So if you do not allow them in, if you are stating on the record you are not allowing the public to see how you are handling public cases, then you will be part of that Supreme Court case as well, because you are violating Florida Supreme Court laws right now by not allowing court watchers in. I court watch all the time in Circuit 7. My case is the only one that doesn't allow court watchers, and there is a reason for that. And the public has a right to know what is going on. Because if any of my children end up on the news dead, sir, you're to blame. Do you want their blood on your hands? I suggest you start following Florida state laws.
Ms. Bendel, I am not going to allow 14
I
court
cannot
watchers
be more
into this
serious if
proceeding.
I try. I have a FOIA showing that my son committed suicide, attempted suicide in Justin's care. My children have had 1.0 GPAs for 3 years straight, sir. Is that acceptable? Would your children, if they're attempting suicide in your care and have a 1.0 GPA for 3 years straight, would you consider that acceptable? Would you consider that in the best interest of the children, which is Florida Supreme Court law?
Ms. Bendel, per your request, I'm not discussing this matter until Ms. Cundid is ready to go with the court.
You need to let the court watchers in, or we're going to have a bigger problem
Okay.
in the community.
Ms. Bendel, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to allow them. So
I'm not arguing with you either. I'm telling you, if you don't let the court watchers in, we're going to have a bigger problem in the community.
that's fine, Ms. Bendel.
Without getting technical support in, Judge, I'm having a real issue making this connection. I'm showing it's connected on my end, but she's not getting the feed, and I don't have an answer for you at this moment.
Okay.
I think it's going to take a little bit of time before I get the technical support, and I didn't want to have to wait.
Yeah, unfortunately, this matter was only reserved or scheduled for an hour, so we've already chewed up almost a half hour of time, which is unfortunate because the court did
I'll
reserve.
make sure that I have the link working 24 hours ahead of time, which is federal law.
All right. Ms. Bendel, I'm going to utilize my discretion, and since we've already chewed up a half hour of time, and I've indicated that the only witnesses that I would address or listen to at this proceeding.
Violating Florida Supreme Court laws
Okay.
by not allowing court watchers in. You've made that clear.
All right. So I'm going to continue this matter to another date and time to allow for
And we need
the.
to make sure that heart services are set up ahead of time like they're supposed to be,
Okay.
according to federal APA laws.
I'm sure that.
We're in a court of law. We need to follow the laws.
Ms. Bendel, when I'm speaking, please don't interrupt me, okay?
Okay,
And
well,
only speak when you're addressed.
With me, my
Miss-
children's lives are in danger.
Ms. Bendel, only address the court when the court addresses you. Yes, sir. Yes,
Let me
Mr.
address
Serlick.
the fact that my children are in need of help now. Voicemails,
Okay.
pleading for help on Wednesday.
Okay.
I
Yes,
receive voicemails the public have access to,
Ms.
pleading for my
Bendel.
help.
Ms. Bendel, if you continue to interrupt, I will mute you. Go ahead, Mr. Serlick.
I just wanted to say that I am okay with this being transitioned or moved into a
And the court watchers will be in person instead.
I'm sorry, Mr. Serlick. Ms. Bendel, please. I wasn't able to hear Mr. Serlick. Go ahead, Mr. Serlick.
I was going to say I am okay with, transitioning this from a digital Zoom meeting into a physical courtroom hearing.
An in-person hearing?
That does make, if it makes it easier to accommodate Miss Bendel's ADA requirements.
I think that's probably a good idea.
On that note, I'm going to make it clear and on the record, my abusers, Mary Serlick and Laura Stiles, will not be in attendance so they can sit there and glare me down and snicker and make snarky comments like they did on January 8th, 2025, from 9 a.m. to 10:30 p.m., at which Peter Arnold then witnessed Laura Stiles come charging out of the courtroom and physically attacking me in the Daytona courthouse. She will not be present. Neither will Mary Serlick. Do I make myself clear?
Ms.
I am
Bendel.
their victim.
Ms. Bendel, you don't get to determine who appears in court and who
I
doesn't.
absolutely
That's the
and
judge's.
I will not allow Laura Stiles to come charging at me again.
Ms.
Do I
Bendel.
make myself?
Ms. Bendel,
Do I make myself clear?
ma'am, I'm not going to address that issue today. I'm just simply going to continue this matter for a future hearing.
That's the thing. For 2.5 years now, no one's addressed anything while my
Right.
children continue to quite literally get destroyed by Justin and Mary Serlick.
Ms. Bendel, if
At
you,
one point, I for 3 years, 17-year-old with an 8th grade education.
all right. I've muted Ms. Bendel because she continues to disregard my admonition to not speak over the court. Mr. Serlick, I will go ahead and reset this matter. I'll consider your request to make it an in-person hearing. Ms. Cundid, I'm sorry that you weren't able to get your connection, but I think Mr. Serlick might have a point. It might be best to have the hearing occur in person.
I want to make it clear, if any of my children die, their blood is on your hands.
All right. Thank you both very much. I will reset this matter, and I apologize for not being able to continue or to hold the hearing today. Thank you both.
It's understandable. Technology happens.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Have a good day, Ms. Cundit. We'll see you soon. Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.